Hard close versus soft close. How do you close deals without burning relationships? So your discovery call was perfect. You've made it through the sales call and you just finished handling your last objection. You need this sale. Everyone's been there. So now you have to decide, do I go in for the hard close or do I pull the pressure off and go for more of the softer approach, which I call the soft close? Because if you push too hard, you risk burning that relationship. But if you don't push enough, the deal just dies quietly. Or maybe your customer was ready to buy right then and there, and you've slowed down the momentum of the sale. In this video, we're gonna break down both sides of that debate, which one actually works, the risk of using the wrong one at the wrong time, and 2 real-world examples from each that you can use in your sales process. Before you can decide which one, whether the hard close or the soft close to use, you still remember you need to see the full picture. Because both can work, and both can silently wreck your deals and even your career if you use them wrong. Now, if you've been in sales for any length of time, you know this moment. Your heart starts racing, everything feels good, you're getting ready to close the sale, and this is the moment where most salespeople default to the hard close. This is your chance. Hey, the pricing goes up tomorrow. Let me check with my manager to see if we can get you a one-time discount to get this done right now. In that moment, pressure does feel like the right move, but here's what nobody tells you. Buyers consistently rate the hard close as the least effective way for you to earn their business. So the question isn't, how do I close this deal? The real question is, how do I close this deal and then maintain that long-term relationship? That's what we're gonna break down today. And before you think this is just another opinion piece, let me break down a little bit of context as far as where this all comes from. My name's Stephen Carroll. I closed over $5.2 million in sales in the last year. I went from almost being fired to adding $130,000 to my income in that same year. I've been in the B2B and B2C sales world for the last 8 years. I've consistently exceeded my quota year after year, not by being louder or memorizing lines, but by changing the way that I handle conversation. This is part of my sales myths versus methods series, where we break what doesn't work and replace it with actual techniques that work in real sales conversations today. Once I started looking at this differently, I realized it wasn't the debate that was the real problem. It wasn't the hard close or the soft close. It all depended on what you're optimizing for. Most reps optimize for this deal, this month's attainment, and this transaction. But a true sales career is built on long-term sales, upsells, referrals, and trust. If you optimize for moments, then you sacrifice memory and you sacrifice great experience. Remember that a customer won't remember every single word that you said, but they will absolutely remember how you made them feel. So let's talk about what happens when you lean too far in either direction. If you rely too much on hard closes, you close transactions and you hit your short-term goals, but you also increase buyer remorse, damage relationships, churn, and refund. You win the deal, but you lose the future. Now, if you rely only on soft closes, you build trust and you avoid pressure, but then deals stall and momentum dies. You protect relationships, but then you miss opportunities, especially with the people that need guidance. Now, zoom out for a second, because this isn't about this deal. It's about the kind of career you're building. The goal isn't, would they buy today? The goal is, did they trust me? Would they buy again? Would they refer me? Because pressure closes transactions, but trust builds pipeline, and pipelines build careers. This is where most people oversimplify, and they kind of get this wrong. They don't want you to think of it as hard sell bad, soft sell good. Big picture, it all depends on what you're trying to optimize for. Hard closes work when the urgency is external. Soft closes work when the urgency is internal. So let me give you an example. So when your buyer has external urgency, maybe something like legal and compliance reasons they might need to buy, or there might be limited quantity or deadlines they have to meet that are real. Then you go for the hard close. The alternative is internal urgency, which we can actually think of as buyer motivated urgency. So that could be things like identity and goals. So I identify with someone who is super successful because I can accomplish X, but obviously you need a tool to do it with. Maybe perhaps fear of staying stuck. Your buyer has fear that they'll remain in the same place and they want to make a change. So the buyer might fear if they don't buy your solution or a solution that they'll be in the same position 6 months from now. Most modern and complex sales today do require internal urgency or buyer motivated urgency. I'm in sales now and have been for the last 8 years, and these are concepts that actually work in the real world today, not theory. If that's valuable to you, give this a like so that more people will find it, and subscribe if you're ready for more real-world sales strategies and not just fluff. So if this feels abstract to you, let's step outside of sales because this example is everywhere. Let's take an example of parenting. You're a new driver and your parents say you have to be home by 10 o'clock. And you ask, why? Hard close, because I said so. Get it done. Soft close, because after 10 o'clock, the risk of a drunk driver being on the road increases by 50% and we want to keep you safe. So in contrast to the hard close, the soft close is more guidance and explanation as to why you need to follow the rules. Compliance will break under pressure when you're not there to enforce the hard close. Commitment from a soft close holds up when no one's watching. All right, so let's get practical and talk about how to apply this in real sales conversations. The best two hard closes when urgency is real. The assumptive close. All right, so does Tuesday or Thursday work to get started on this? The direct close. Sounds like we're good to move forward. Where should I send over the agreement? It shows confidence, it shows alignment, and it gets the deal to that next step. Now here are two soft closes. The question close. What needs to happen from here to move forward or get this signed? Or the summary close. We talked about a timeline or action steps of A, B, and C. How does that sound in terms of next steps? When you're in the moment, here's a filter that's going to keep you from making the wrong move and using the wrong technique. The question you need to ask yourself is the urgency coming from reality or is it coming from me? If it's reality, the hard close is leadership. If it's you, then the soft close is the best technique. So when you strip away the scripts and the techniques and tactics, here's what it really comes down to. Hard close versus soft close isn't a debate, it's a career philosophy. Hard closes win moments, soft closes win memory. And memory builds pipeline, trust, and longevity. So this all leads to the next question. If both hard close and soft close have a place in a sales process, what does it come down to then? Is it about persuading more or listening more? How do I get my opportunities to that stage? Well, we got you. That's in the next video. If you found this information helpful, hit that like button so that you and other great salespeople like you can find it. And hit that subscribe button for more actionable techniques that work in sales right now.